Okay, that should be better. We'll just wait a little bit for people to come in. Delete that other video. Just so you guys know, I don't delete any comments from my channel. This one that this EOS related guy was talking about, I don't even know if his comment's still there, but yeah, I didn't delete that. What happened is when I prove someone wrong or debate with someone in the comment, they end up deleting their own comment because they don't want to be seen as being proved wrong or whatever. So yeah, in the history of my entire channel, my entire social media and everything, not once have I ever deleted a comment. Let me just get the chat up and everything. Still kind of new to this live streaming thing, and especially I'm using it on my phone. Hey, I'm good. How are you doing, Karsten? Oh, gone. Oh, you're still here. I thought it doesn't say you're in the chat anymore. Okay, I have the chat up on my computer now. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was with this, well, the only thing I really want to talk about, and then I'll just talk to you guys and whatever after this. So, yeah, so the autopsy report for George Floyd came out, and I'm just going to read this article off of Science Times. Let's see, how can I show you guys? How can I share with you guys this link? Maybe this way. First time live streaming, so bear with me. So that's the article that we're reading. So it's from the Science Times, and it says, the whole world witnessed the death of George Floyd on Monday when a viral video showed Minneapolis police officer kneeling on Floyd's neck for almost 9 minutes. No pulse was found after. An autopsy by Hennepin County medical examiner found no physical findings that support a diagnosis of traumatic asphyxiation or strangulation. So George didn't die by strangulation, by the cop strangling him or choking him out or whatever. Not to say that I think that was that what the cop did was right. So Derek Michael Chauvin, the officer in the video, was fired and is being charged with third-degree murder, perpetuating eminently dangerous act of evincing depraved mind, reads the complaint. Chauvin is also being charged with second-degree manslaughter, culpable negligence, creating unreasonable risk. The statement of probable cause explains what happened before the arrest. Someone called 911 to report a man paying with a counterfeit $20 bill. The store personnel pointed the police to the man's parked car around the corner. Officers Thomas Lane and J.A. Kong, equipped with body-worn cameras, approached the vehicle where Floyd, along with one male adult and one female adult, were inside. Floyd was asked to step out of the vehicle and initially resisted being handcuffed. Eventually, after being compliant, Floyd was assisted towards their squad car. He was asked if he was on anything and was told that he's being arrested for passing counterfeit money. He was asked if he was on anything. All right, I read that right. Heading to the squad car, Floyd stiffened up, fell to the ground, and told officers he was claustrophobic. So this is things that people do when they resist arrest. Instead of physically resisting and struggling and physically using force to fight the cops and everything, they just go stiff and let the cops deal with their body. Floyd stiffened up, fell to the ground, and told the officers he was claustrophobic. Officer Chauvin arrived with his partners as the officers continued to try and bring Floyd to the squad car. Floyd kept intentionally falling, reads the report, while saying he would not get in the car and refused to stand still as well. So there's absolutely no video that I've seen. I've seen a video of, and if you guys have anything in the comments, leave it in the comments of the video and I'll watch it on this live stream or whatever. But I've seen video from the cop car pointing out at the cop car at the van where Floyd was arrested in. And then I seen the video that everyone saw with the cop kneeling on his neck. I watched like the whole video of that. One thing I wanted to, I'll talk about that a little bit later. Let me take a note of that thought real quick. All right, I already have a note of it. All right, so while Floyd stood outside the car, he began repeating that he couldn't breathe. After being assisted in the car, and the Chauvin took him out of the vehicle, and Floyd went on the ground face down, still handcuffed. It was at this time that Chauvin placed his left knee on Floyd's neck. Floyd was repeatedly saying, "I can't breathe, mama, please." So it's really hard when you're a cop to tell like if someone's being honest or someone is like saying, "Oh, get off of me," just because they want to escape or do something. So I don't know how you handle that situation as a cop. How do you know if someone's really in distress or they're just faking it to flee? So Kong held his back while Lane held his legs, and none of the officers altered their position. The officers had an exchange. "You are talking fine," one said to Floyd. Lane asked Chauvin, "Should we roll him on the side?" The defendant replied, no, staying put where we got him." Lane expressed that he was worried about excited delirium, which I have that link that I'll read about this as well, or another effect this position could do to Floyd. Chauvin said back, "That's why we have him in this position on his stomach." 2 minutes before the video ended, Floyd stopped moving. Kung checked for a pulse and couldn't find one. Underlying health issues. An ambulance arrived and brought Floyd to Hennepin County Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead. The Hennepin County medical examiner conducted the autopsy, saying asphyxia was not the cause of death. Floyd had underlying health issues, including hypertensive heart disease and coronary artery disease. Both diseases, combined with being restrained by the police, plus any potential intoxicants, may have contributed to his death. So two things I want to talk about with this last statement. So first, with Floyd having underlying health conditions, hypertensive heart disease, and coronary artery disease, this guy has like a decade, 2 decades worth of cocaine arrests and cocaine use and everything like that. So that could have attributed to his cause of death, other than the cop kneeling on him. The other thing I want to talk about, so when I think about like the coronavirus, when they classify people, if their cause of death was the coronavirus, or was their cause of death old age or being unhealthy leading to a weak immune system and stuff like that. So also, like, say that your wife cheats on you and leaves you, and is the cause of your divorce her cheating on you and leaving you, or is the cause actually the pre-existing conditions that led to her cheating on you and leaving you? And then also you can say, like, you could also say the cause of her divorcing you was that, oh, all women are liars and cheaters and all women are unfaithful. And then that's where this comes in with the cops saying, like, oh, all cops are racist. So I don't know. You guys can let me know, how do you determine a cause of death when you look at it that way, when there's multiple pre-existing conditions and causes that could have happened? So this excited delirium thing, I'll post the comment or the link in chat as well. This is from NCBI, the U.S. National Library of Medicine, National Institute of Health. Where are we? And here's the link to that. So excited delirium says, and you guys can leave, I know there's 3 of you guys here, you guys can leave any questions or comments for me, and I'll get to them. So excited or agitated delirium is characterized by agitation, aggression, acute distress, and sudden death, often in the pre-hospital care setting. It is typically associated with the use of drugs that alter dopamine processing, hypothermia, and most notably, sometimes with death of the affected person in the custody of law enforcement. Subjects typically die from cardiopulmonary arrest, although the cause is debated. Unfortunately, an adequate treatment plan has yet to be established. He is guilty, the cop. No need for that amount of force. In part due to the fact that most patients die before hospital arrival. While there is still much to be discovered about the pathophysiology and treatment, it is still hoped that the extensive review will provide both police and medical personnel with the information necessary to recognize and respond appropriately to excited delirium. Let me take a drink real quick. So, Carson, what's your reasoning behind just saying that the cop is guilty? I get that the cop shouldn't have. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how to put it in my thoughts or anything. All right. Excited delirium, first described in the mid-1800s, has been referred to by many other names: Bell's mania, lethal catatonia, acute exhaustive mania, and agitated delirium. So with this excited delirium thing, the reason that it's being brought up, and I'm not the one bringing this up, it's actually the cops and the guys saying this about him, I guess, is that this could possibly be if this guy was resisting arrest and whatever, when, like, we don't see any of the video or anything like that before what happened. So regardless of the label used, all accounts describe almost the exact same sequence of events: delirium with agitation, fear, panic, shouting, violence, and hyperactivity, sudden cessation of struggle, respiratory arrest, and death. So literally the exact same thing that we saw with George Floyd. In the majority of cases, unexpected strengths and signs of hypothermia are described as well. While the incidence of EXD, excited delirium, is not known, the purpose of this review is to identify what is known or suspected about the pathophysiology, outcome, and management options associated with EXD to assist medical professionals in the future. issues regarding EXD. EXD is gained increasingly public attention recently due to so this was written back in 2011. Recently, due to the number of post-mortem explanations offered by medical examiners regarding the death of individuals being restrained by police or taken into custody. This diagnosis has caused concern because EXD is not a currently recognized medical or psychiatric diagnosis according to either the DSM-IVTR, so I guess that's updated version of the DSM-5, or the American Psychiatric Association, or the International Classification of Diseases of the World Health Organization. Valid sources of what? The links are in the comments. Likewise, the authors of one review article found enough evidence in the literature to suggest excited delirium, some other word I can't pronounce, and neuroleptic malalignment syndrome might represent a clinical spectrum of a single disease. Although more research is needed to elucidate cause and effect, it is important to note that the lack of recognition of the condition in the context of law enforcement activities does not negate the significance of the behavioral and physical signs referred to EXD. For instance, one important study that found that only 18 of 240 individuals as having EXD died while being restrained and taken into custody. If anything, the possible association with other life-threatening syndromes only gives impetus to the need for critical emergency medical intervention when encountering a person thought to be in the state of excited delirium. Not saying he is guilty of murder, but no need of that use of force. So we don't know what happened between George being pinned to the ground and everything like that. We don't know that there was no need for that use of force or anything. And if this excited delirium thing, let me get to this background portion of excited delirium, but if this excited delirium thing holds true and is what happened, then this guy would likely have been acting aggressive, and it said that people have like extraordinary strength and aggressiveness when in this state. So the reason that I'm saying this stuff isn't to say like, oh, the cop was right and all that. I'm just saying like we have to look at more evidence and more stuff out there before we cause all these riots. And like the cops were arrested, the cops were fired for this already. So I don't get the like justice needs to be served for George and we have to riot because of all this. Like he was arrested, the cops were arrested, they'll have trial and everything like that, and all these details will come out to the public. So background. Although reports of patients with similar symptoms first appeared in the 19th century, the first modern mention of EXD was in 1985. The presentation of excited delirium occurs with the sudden onset with symptoms of bizarre and/or aggressive behavior, shouting, paranoia, panic, violence towards others, unexpected physical strength, and hypothermia. Now, it's also interesting, and I do notice, like in the report that I just read from the Science Times, it says Lane, one of the officers, expressed that he was worried about excited delirium or another effect this position could do to Floyd. I don't really know how well-known cops are or trained in excited delirium. With this article that I'm reading, it doesn't seem to be that common. So for this officer to bring it up and say that in the heat of the moment he was worried about excited delirium, it does kind of seem maybe a little bit like he's saying that like after the fact. And the other thing that I'm saying that I want to say, like with this no need to use that amount of force that you said, Karsten, and stuff. Like it's easy to look at the video of the cop kneeling on his neck and the guy and George dying and yelling for help and that he can't breathe. It's easy to look at all that in hindsight and say like, oh, this wasn't justified. This wasn't justified. Like this guy shouldn't have died for trying to buy something with a counterfeit $20 bill. But all of that's just in hindsight, you know, like when you have all of the information available to you, you can make better decisions and you can look at that a lot better. Just like when you see like the stock market move and you have all this information because all this stuff already happened, you can make better predictions of the stock market. So to continue with this article or this study, an extensive review of reported cases, case series reveals that in a majority of cases, EXD was precipitated by stimulant drug use, and in much fewer cases, psychiatric illness such as mania, depression, or schizophrenia, or systemic illness. Methamphetamine, PCP, and LSD have been reported in a few series, but by far the most prevalent drug of abuse found in toxicology screening was cocaine. So also like the toxicology screening for George hasn't been released yet or anything, so we need the toxicology report to know more about this. Since the victims frequently die while being restrained or in the custody of law enforcement, there's been speculation over the years of police brutality being the underlying cause. However, it is important to note that the vast majority of deaths occur suddenly prior to capture in the emergency department or unwitnessed at home. Prior to 1985, most reported cases of sudden death from cocaine intoxication involved body stuffers who died secondary to massively high exposure to a drug after packets they were carrying around burst. So I guess that's just like smuggling drugs in your body. So that's just the stuff that I'm just seeing right now. There's this other thing like George being like painted as a saint and all this, and so there's this article. I can just link it to you guys. So there's this other article from Daily Mail, George's criminal past. So just like the caption or the synopsis of it at the beginning of the article is George Floyd moved to Minneapolis in 2014 for a fresh start after being released from prison in Houston, Texas, following an arrest of aggravated robbery. Floyd had turned his life around but died on Monday after a white officer kneeled on his neck while arresting him for allegedly paying with a fake $20 bill. I'm not really sure that you can say that George turned his life around, because in the cop's body cam that you show, the people that were arrested that were in the car with him kept trying to run to the car and get stuff out of the car and hide stuff. Hey, do you still think BlockFi is a scam? I don't think BlockFi is a scam at all. I never said that it was a scam. I just said that you guys should be careful of putting your money in places that you have no oversight or control over. So it seems to me like George was hanging around drug addicts and drug users and drug dealers or whatever from the video of the cop's body cam. So to say that Floyd turned his life around seems a bit disingenuous. None of the officers could have been aware of Floyd's more than decade-old criminal history at the time of his arrest. I'm not 100% sure why that matters. So The 46-year-old had left behind his past in Houston after being released from prison stemming from a 2007 robbery. He pleaded guilty to entering a woman's home, pointing a gun at her stomach, and searching their home for drugs and money, according to criminal records. Floyd was sentenced to 10 months in jail. So this is before that. In 2005, George was sentenced to 10 months in jail for having less than 1 gram of cocaine in a 2005 arrest. So later in this article, it said that he had more than that he had 4 grams of cocaine on him that he was trying to sell, but the charge was reduced to having less than 1 gram. He had previously been sentenced to 8 months for the same offense in 2002. Floyd was arrested in 2002 again for criminal trespassing and served 30 days in jail. And he had another stint of theft in August of '98. So he, in this whole thing, in George's, let me look up how old he was, but he had somewhere between 10 to 13 years in jail. And he was 46 when he died. So yeah, what's that, like a third or a quarter of his life? George was in jail, and then how much of his time was he committing all these crimes and stuff without being in jail? So I don't know. That's all that I want to talk about here. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, I'll just hang out with you guys for maybe like another half an hour. I want to wash my car today as well, but I'll just hang out with you guys. Okay, so you don't think BlockFi is a scam. Why do you think that giving them stable coins is worse than giving them Bitcoin or ETH? Well, I think stablecoins is worse because there's no blockchain with stablecoins and they seem more untraceable, I guess. I really need to do more research into stablecoin and stuff like that, but I don't know like how stablecoins are issued, how they're recorded to make sure that a stablecoin is on parity with the US dollar. So yeah. There's the ETH blockchain. They are issued on ETH. Yeah. So, which stablecoin is that? Is that the Coinbase stablecoin, the USDC? It's not. ETH tokens aren't stablecoins. USDT isn't on the Ethereum blockchain, is it? If you want to give me a link to that, I'll look at it. I'm Googling it now. I see absolutely nothing saying that Tether is on the Ethereum blockchain. Omni isn't even on Ethereum. Isn't Omni Omni's a Bitcoin protocol? Yeah, I don't know like where you're getting any of that from. Yeah, I'll wait for you to give me the link, no problem. So I'm seeing an article on Cointelegraph saying that Tether launches USDT stablecoin on Algorand blockchain. Post that to you in chat. And it says leading stablecoin operator Tether. Let me change this camera a little bit, I guess. Leading stablecoin operator Tether launched its US dollar-backed stablecoin USDT on the Algorand proof-of-stake blockchain. So the other issue, damn, they don't allow me to post links. Oh, I probably have that setting turned off for for comments on my YouTube videos. I have links turned off because there's a lot of people trying to scam people and post links to bad shit. If you want to give me like a keyword, or maybe email me the link or something like that, either give me the keywords to your link and I'll look for it, or email it to me. It's the @scan address. All right, I'll look on @scan it for it. But the other issue is how do you know that there's actual US dollars backing the stablecoin? Like, you still need physical proof of the US dollars, don't you? That the US dollars actually exist. You can see links that I post, right? So, okay, yeah, so we have the same one. And yeah, I just approved your the contract address for you. I didn't see that I could approve that. So the question is good. Basically, they have tons of it on exchanges like Bitfinex and Binance. It's a real live exchange. Yeah, but how are you proving that there's actual US dollars? Because they have audits. Yeah, but with blockchains, you don't need audits. You can just look at the blockchain and trust it. Wow, what's this? Total supply in this contract is like $5.7 billion, or trillion, I guess. No, it'd be billion. Yeah, I just don't trust it. I admit I do need to do more research on stable coins and everything. Yeah, 5.7 billion. I do need to do more research on stable coins, but just what I know now, I don't see any reason that I should be trusting them and everything. So that's why I just warn against it, because I don't know enough to advise for it. But it does seem like kind of so. Do you know, Mortel? Do you know why does BlockFi offer a higher interest rate on stable coins than they offer? It's like 8.6 interest rate on stable coins and only 6% on Bitcoin. And my thought behind it is that the higher the interest rate is used to sorry, I got distracted for a second. The higher the interest rate is used to incentivize people to put more, to use that coin more, to use the stable coin more. So there must be some type of reason why they prefer stable coins being used. that they have to incentivize them because they can immediately exchange it for USD and it's a one-on-one parity. Yeah, and there's fees and stuff too. So if BlockFi is taking out loans, or if BlockFi is giving loans in USD, then they would need to have cash on hand to give to the people that want loans. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense because how else would they be getting cash if they didn't accept stable coins? How else would they be getting cash to pay out the loans? Okay, yeah. So thanks for clearing that up for me. I was a little bit confused, or didn't really think that through. All right, so I'm gonna end it. BlockFi just moved 10 million worth of USDC 12 hours ago. Okay. Do you have a point with saying that? Not saying that. I just don't understand what that really means. Why you brought that up? But then after this, I'm gonna get going. It was 40% of their account. They have 24 million USDC in address. What address? What like? How is there a blockchain for to keep track of USDC as well? Oh, so is this the same the USDC on Etherscan as USDC? Yeah, BlockFi has a contract. Is this the? I'm sending you the link. That's it. That link is it. So they have 745 million. So then the 10 million that you said would be on this. Yeah. So what's this? When looking at the USDC on Etherscan, there's a link. I'll give you the contract in a second. Is it the contract that I posted? I think I have the contract already. So there's a link in it saying that the official site is Centra.io. Oh, so it's USDC is between Circle and Coinbase. I created it. I thought it was Coinbase exclusively before. BlockFi has its own contract for USDC. Well, that doesn't really make sense because you said that there's 780 million USDC on the Ethereum blockchain. And then this contract for USDC shows 746 million. Okay, I'm gonna end the stream. So thanks guys for talking. I haven't done a live stream in forever and haven't just like got a chance to talk to anyone. I remember the one that I did on Thanksgiving. I had some people come in and talk to that just randomly showed up. But all right, take care, guys. Thank you. Thanks for talking, Immortal. This is BlockFi. All right, I'll wait to look at your the BlockFi contract. Or the BlockFi address, I mean. I have on this monitor back here, I have the stream on, and I'm looking at how terrible the quality is compared to how it looks on my phone. Oh, I guess that's because, oh, yeah, it looks a little bit better when I change the resolution to 720p. Still not that good. I just use my phone for live streaming right now. This is where all BlockFi money goes. I like to monitor this stuff. Well, yeah, that's good that you can. I didn't know that you could watch the BlockFi where the stablecoins go and everything. So what do you think, Ian track big moves. So what do you think, I made a video about BlockFi's rehypothecation terms in their terms of use. What do you think about that? Like, do you think that there is cause for concern about that? And for anyone watching that doesn't know what I'm talking about, rehypothecation means so BlockFi can take, so BlockFi can give you, you can give your Bitcoin to BlockFi to use as collateral to take out a loan, and then BlockFi can now use the Bitcoin that you gave them to take out a loan of their own. So then if BlockFi defaults on the loan that they took out with your Bitcoin, well, their loan provider would get your Bitcoin instead of you getting it. I think it can cause an internal collapse, loans on loans on loans. Yeah, that's the way that I saw it too. And like the reason that I'm making these videos on BlockFi, it's just me making videos while I'm researching stuff and sharing with you guys my thoughts as I'm going through it. I would like to put some crypto in BlockFi, but I want to make sure that that I can trust and that I'm 100% on board with what's going on and everything before I put my money into it. So I'm not intentionally trying to make bad publicity videos about BlockFi or anything like that. I'm just sharing with you guys my thoughts. I think they don't loan it more than once, though. I really don't know. So they wouldn't be, the crypto is not insured at all. Yeah. It wouldn't be them loaning it out more than once. So it'd be me giving my Bitcoin to BlockFi as collateral, then BlockFi giving that crypto to a bank as collateral for a loan, and then that bank taking that Bitcoin as a loan for something else. So BlockFi wouldn't be able to do it multiple times, but it could keep progressing down the chain of who has the collateral at that point. Also, another thing that makes it seem not worth it to me is the interest rates seem too low to be worth the risk. Like, it doesn't seem like the risk reward thing lines up to me, even though I understand that their interest rates are high, especially compared to savings accounts and everything like that. But to say, let's just look at a compound interest calculator. So let's say that we put in $5,000, and over the course of 5 years, say that it's Bitcoin's at like 6% or something like that. So in 5 years of keeping $5,000 in BlockFi, you would end up with $6,744, assuming that the interest rate doesn't go down or anything like that. So is $1,744, is making $1,744 over the course of 5 years worth it to you? Meanwhile, the risk is that you're not in control of that money throughout that whole 5 years, and you don't know if BlockFi can go out of business or get hacked or what. And I know, like, maybe getting hacked might not be the most risky thing, because they do store what they said is 90% of hey, Lorraine, Ohio here. Oh, that's not your name. Hey, Don, how you doing? Don from Lorraine, Ohio. I'll stick around. I was going to end in a little bit, but I'll stick around to talk to you for a little bit, Don. Yeah, so I don't know if $1,700 is worth the risk. They give USD loans, take twice as much crypto as collateral. Yeah. And that's still like the other thing. Like, I didn't watch like the whole thing with BlockFi and how that worked out or anything, but I know like the crash in March caused like loans to get closed on DeFi that might not have needed to happen, I guess. What's new, Don? How you doing? I'll be back in like 10 seconds. I just have to blow my nose real quick. Just cut the grass. What's the weather like in Ohio right now? It's gotta be like 80 degrees or something like that right now. It's actually pretty hot today. They had one loan that defaulted in March, and That was after BlockFi made several pleas with the customer, which he ignored. What type of pleas were they making? Like they were trying to get their loan customer to add more funds to the contract so it wouldn't get closed. Thinking about campfire tonight. Yeah, that sounds nice. There's we have a fire pit in my backyard, and I have like since March all of my Amazon boxes saved up to start a fire, but I just don't feel like being outside. Oh, sorry for that. I'm just playing with something, that clicking noise. Watch the Dragon launch. Oh, is that the SpaceX thing, right? Didn't that like catch on fire and explode or something? I didn't see any video about it. I just saw like one article. I'm not sure about the whole story. With the customer, probably something like add more collateral. I wonder why BlockFi wouldn't. Yeah, because I guess BlockFi would lose money on that. I don't know. Perfect launch from it. What was the? Let me look this up. Yeah, I didn't look too much into the Celsius network, but I saw that they had like that they issued a token or something, and so that adds like even more complexity to the system, and even more complexity for me to research and everything like that. So I want to like square the circle with BlockFi before digging too deep into another one. Hey Smelson, how you doing? Everyone's just coming in when I'm like 15 minutes ago I was gonna end the end the live stream, and now we're on 53 minutes I've been streaming. So, but I'll talk to you guys because I don't really get to talk to you guys like really at all. So what's up, Smelson? How you doing? We're just talking about BlockFi and the SpaceX launch. Any idea why you can't see yourself in chat? I'm not sure. I can see you fine. Like I'm looking at, I'll show you guys what I'm looking at. 1 second. This is what I see. I like that you do your own research. Thanks. I probably get stuff wrong or right sometimes with doing that, but at least I get to form my own opinions. But that's like a long time ago when I started researching like computer science and everything like that. I had to learn on my own because I didn't graduate high school and couldn't afford to go to college or even figure out how to get that to work at all. And I didn't want the debt from college or anything. And also like with technology and computer science and everything like that, like all this stuff progresses way faster than college can teach you anyway. Like there's constantly new technology and all that. Like just think of like, imagine like the crypto space, if they're trying to teach you about crypto like as crypto's happening. Like one day there's just Bitcoin, then a couple months later there's 50 cryptocurrencies now, and you have to learn about all of them. It gets to be like way too much sometimes though. Like nowadays I'm just kind of keeping up with news and everything like that. Mostly I just keep up with news. Spend like a couple hours reading news every day. All right. I went out and came back, and now I can see myself. All right, so I'm glad that issue worked out. Now I can't again, strange. Well, it's not an issue on my end, so maybe it's just you need to go back out. I don't know. Uh, when did you first hear about Bitcoin? So I first heard about Bitcoin, I think it was the end of 2012. Yeah, it was the end of 2012. I was looking for, I had like friends. I was working on hacking Android phones and stuff since 2009. I think I started that, and one of my friends talked about Bitcoin like once or twice in the IRC channel, and he actually sold his all of his Bitcoins in like 2013 or something to buy 2 AMD GPUs so he could play games on his computer at a higher resolution. And meanwhile, I think it was just like a couple months after that is when I started buying my own GPU miners to mine Litecoin and everything. Truth over facts. Watching the beginning of your video and you read the autopsy report. I didn't read the autopsy report. I read an article on Science Daily, and it mentioned that they didn't strangle him. It didn't mention that they didn't strangle him. It said that he didn't die from strangulation or asphyxiation. What is your point? Were the cops fired? Why were the cops fired? They had to have done something wrong. I don't know how much BTC he sold, whatever, like $600, $700 worth at the time, $1,000 worth. I learned about it when was about 60, but couldn't figure out how to buy it. Biggest mistake of my life. Biggest mistake because you couldn't figure out how to buy it. That was like 100 BC. Well, I don't know. I'll look at the charts, at the history of Bitcoin's price to see how much that maybe was. So around that time, Bitcoin was, January 2013, Bitcoin was like $14. So let's say that he sold like $800 worth of Bitcoin for 2 GPUs divided by 14, so like 57.14 Bitcoins. And I think that actually seems fairly accurate. That seems like the number that he would have said. So yeah, then now like around $10,000, he would have had $571,000 worth of Bitcoin if he just waited 7 years, I guess. But that's like, I had other friends involved in cryptocurrency that bought cryptocurrency around the same time I was like more involved in it and everything. And stuff pops up, like you can't just like put on hold having a family or buying a house because you don't want to sell your cryptocurrency. And sometimes like when you have a family and wife and stuff, you can't really just not fix your car because you rather hold on to your crypto. So that's some of the stuff that people that I know ended up running into and reasons why they sold their cryptocurrency. Me, I was like, I see there is a message retracted. I'll look at that in 1 second. That's not something I need to approve. Let's see. Years ago, if only he knew. Yeah, I think like the people that I was talking to back then, like they weren't as like into cryptocurrency or as efficient as doing it. Like, remember when those USB miners came out? I had a friend that bought like 20 of them or something and would run these USB miners at home, like way after they were already not efficient to mine anymore. Yeah, there were like USB ASIC miners. I remember people would buy the like USB adapters so you can plug like 10 of them in at once. Oh, I wonder if maybe your problem, Don, with your comments not showing up. I think I'm seeing people's comments a couple seconds sooner than they might be posted, than they might be posting to everyone else. Yeah, USB hub. That I always forget my words. Oh yeah, I was looking at this SpaceX launch. So was this Dragon thing them going to Mars, or what was this Dragon thing about, Don? See if I can find my answer faster than you can give it to me. Just Google it. Space station. Okay. The SpaceX Dragon, also known as Dragon 1, was a reusable cargo spacecraft developed by SpaceX, an American private space transportation company. Dragon was launched into orbit by the company's Falcon 9 launch vehicle to resupply the International Space Station. Trying to think what they're going to be supplying the space station with. Why do you believe the cops were fired? The cops were fired. You read but didn't answer my question. The cops were fired. That's. Do you have like a link or something that shows that the cops weren't fired for this? Everything that I read shows that the cops were fired. That's why I said that. And I'm not sure what I read but didn't answer your question. You said, let's see, watching the beginning of your video and you read the autopsy report. No, I didn't read the autopsy report. I read an article on Science Daily, which I said when I responded to your comment, and mentioned that they didn't strangle him. And I didn't say that they strangled him. I said that he didn't die from strangulation. I didn't say that they didn't strangle him. I just said that he didn't die from strangulation. This is like the thing that I hate. Like people just take stuff that I say as out of context and just say things like what they want to hear and stuff, and don't even listen to the actual words that I said. Mayor stated publicly they were fired. Yeah. With the name called Truth Over Facts. Like, I don't get this. So there was another guy. Let me find the comment. EOS related. His name was on my YouTube channel. And he was saying that I'm deleting everyone's comments on YouTube and all this stuff. And no, that none of that happened. Like when I reply to someone's comment, they end up deleting their own comments. So I posted a screenshot showing that the comment was still there. And let's see what his replies. You hid the comment. It wasn't deleted. You should know. You should know, given that I know D. The reason why he posted soon after me is because I forwarded him the video via WhatsApp and he commented, I know him. You've made this a well-deserved unsub. Like, no, I didn't hide anyone's comment. Like look, the comment is still right. The comment is still right here. Like, I didn't do anything with this comment. but somehow I'm being accused of deleting people's comments and hiding them and everything. No, maybe like YouTube hit it or something like that. I didn't do anything. I've never deleted comments or anything in the entire history of my YouTube channel. Even when people accuse me of stuff and call me racist and call me all these like things and whatever. I'm asking you your opinion of why do you believe that they were fired. I'm not taking your words out of context. You're dealing in semantics. No, you are taking my words out of context because you said, watching the beginning of your video and you read the autopsy report. No, I do not read the autopsy report. And you mentioned that they didn't strangle him. No, I didn't mention that they didn't strangle him. I did not say that they didn't strangle him. What I said was that he didn't die from asphyxiation or strangulation. Two different things here. I'm not arguing semantics here. You're taking my words out of context. I'm just trying to get your opinion to my question. What question? Why do you believe that they were fired? I believe that they were fired because that's what was reported and that the mayor said that they were fired. Why do you believe that they weren't fired? Why do you think it's going to win? Who do you think is going to win the presidential elections this year considering these events? So I think a lot of this stuff is being blown out of proportion and saying that, and all these racial tensions are being fabricated and elevated and all that, because this is the only way, this is one of the only ways that Donald Trump wouldn't win the presidency if they overblow racial tensions and everything. This gives a chance of Trump not winning. But on the other hand, seeing like Joe Biden, Joe's like delusional, like he can't even put words together. He says stuff and then takes back what he says because he's like, he says something that he shouldn't have said or something, then he's like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. I made a mistake. I didn't mean that. And like, he's just not like a coherent person. There's a reason that Donald Trump calls him Sleepy Joe all the time. Do you ever watch the Oracle's trading channel? Do you know if his system actually works? I don't really know what you're talking about with Oracle's trading channel, so no, I haven't watched it. That's not the answer to my question. I didn't ask if they were fired. I asked, why do you believe that they were fired? Okay, you can answer your question yourself then. I told you why I believe that they were fired. What the hell is this stuff? Trump will win by a landslide. Yeah, I think so too. So just so you know that I'm not deleting comments too. So this D comment, and I'll read it off to you guys. It's about my Jaden Hayden versus George Floyd video, which my whole point for that video was just that it's upsetting to me to see self-classified and verified black supremacists beat up elderly white people and no news coverage be shown about it or anything like that. That's the whole, and then somehow I'm not allowed to have those feelings. Meanwhile, everyone else can have those feelings about black people, that I can watch all this happen to white people and media not cover it. So it says, this video probably would have given the benefit of the doubt, but Central Park Karen fucked that up for you. She clearly showed that not only does she and folks like her know that they can weaponize the police force by so effortlessly by lying that the African American man is attacking this white woman, but the fact that she actually told him that to his face before making the call means that not only was it premeditated, but it's clear that she knew what the possible consequences would be for him as a black man. She didn't give a fuck. So I don't know who this Central Park Karen is, but this is giving one anecdotal instance to like another comment, when I replied to this to another guy that commented, like the last year that I think back of, we have Jussie Smollett who faked all this racial stuff, saying that that white supremacists were targeting him and all this. Meanwhile, it was two guys that he knew that he hired to stage a racial attack, and the media just took all of that and just believed him, and all of that was found to be untrue. And then this stuff with Ahmaud Arbery, the same thing with him. He was trespassing on houses where there's actual security footage from this house, like 4 or 5 times different days of him in this house, trespassing and everything. And then there's reports of him stealing fishing poles and stealing a gun out of the car that was at the house, which I'm not letting off the people that did that, because why would you have a gun in a unlocked car in the first place? You should be more responsible over your weapons. But so yeah, there's just, you can't just say that the media is not racially biased using one anecdotal evidence, one anecdotal claim to as a counter argument. It doesn't work that way. So he says, the fact that Central Park Karen, I'll Google who Central Park Karen is after this. I don't know what the hell he's talking about, but like I said, it's just anecdotal evidence and anecdotal stories. The fact that Central Park Karen even said that proves the reality that you're ignoring with this lame comparison video. And also, I don't know when this Central Park Karen thing happened, but you have to realize my video was released yesterday, and then also I recorded it the day before. So there's where do you live in PA? Like, I'm gonna tell you guys the stuff that I say. I don't need anyone to know where I'm living. But you have to realize, like, how am I gonna retroactively add stuff to videos? So my advice, take this video down and quit the fucking damage control. Jaden was a moron who killed people and got dealt with by law enforcement. So I shouldn't have my video up because the guy that I was speaking about got dealt with by law enforcement, but somehow it's okay that we can have all these protests for cops who are dealt with by law enforcement. So there was no need for white outrage and calling for white protests. Where in my video did I call for white protests? Imagine some clown making a video saying, well, Jaden did kill some elderly folk, but did they try to assault him first? Like, I don't get how people can just diminish it as just like, well, Jaden did this and we could just diminish what he did. Like, to me, that just seems like racially biased against white people, just to diminish all that. We don't know because there's no video. Yeah, and there's no video showing that George Floyd didn't resist arrest either, and somehow that's okay. Yet Floyd's killer is a direct representative of justice. No. Since when do cops deal justice? That's a judge's job. Yet they keep finding themselves killing black people while everyone tries to justify it and making stupid comparisons. Like, I didn't delete this comment, but I don't even want to read it anymore because it's just nonsense. I'll talk to you guys because you guys are more interesting than this nonsense. All right, so let's see. Hit the lines, folks. Sounds like your problem is the media. What? I think that's why he called him a clown. I don't even know what you're referencing here. But I guess that's my fault for not really paying attention to chat for a little bit. Was thinking lunch someday if you're on the west side of PA. Yeah, I don't really hang out with people or anything like that. So, like, there's people that I know that are my friends that I haven't seen in months. So, chance of me meeting up with a stranger isn't really likely. Not saying that there's anything wrong with you. That's not who I am. I don't hang out with people that I know, let alone strangers. Judge Dredd did deal justice on the field. I'm referencing what you just read. Yeah, but you're saying you're referencing what I read and not saying anything at all. Uh, let's see. I think that's why he called him a clown. I really don't get what your arguments are here, what you're saying at all. But this, like, just taking all this stuff out of context, saying that I'm calling for white outrage and white protests, that's not an argument. You're not giving me anything to counter argue or anything like that. So, if you actually want to have a conversation, then go ahead and have a conversation with me and speak and say what the hell's on your mind. Don't give half-assed remarks like that. Come on, man. That's because of the 200 text limit. Okay, then email me and we can talk over Skype and talk over it on the YouTube channel. That's fine. There's going to be a lawsuit. The family will be fined. Yeah, I don't know. Just crazy stuff. All right, guys. I was gonna end this at 7:15, and now it's almost 8 o'clock. So I do want to get to washing my car before it gets too late out. So I'm gonna get going. Thanks a lot for showing up. I really just enjoy talking to people and having people around to talk to, which I don't do enough. I don't do these live streams enough. So thanks Immortal, for explaining to me the stablecoin stuff and everything like that. That wasn't stuff that I was thinking about or anything. So I appreciate it. So thank you very much. Take care, and see you, Don. See you later at Truth Over Facts as well. Like I said, email me. We'll schedule a call and we can talk about it on Skype on the channel if you have anything you want to talk about. But just reading your comments and with you taking all this shit out of context that I've never said once before, it doesn't seem to me that like this call is really gonna go anywhere productive. But if you still want to make the call or whatever, I'm fine with it. So, all right, guys, take care. Thank you, and goodbye.